welcome back to Passion Projects. Today I have a very exciting episode for you, a first time on the show. We actually have a band that has come on to talk to me. The band is named Occasions. They're a new rock band based out of Venice, Florida, and they are absolutely crushing it with their new single, Mountain Man. Yeah, it was a very interesting conversation to talk about their new single, how they got formed as a band, their musical backgrounds, and a ton of other things that I know you found really, really cool. So if you're interested in hearing more about how a rock band got formed and how they're going to transform the music world with their new music, this is the episode for you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy another Passion Projects episode with our new guest, Occasions.
How do you know
That'd be
Judah?
awesome. I would love that. Yeah. I was just telling them, he and I went to college together.
Oh, okay. He's a great dude, man. He was really fun to work with.
Sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. Yeah, he and I met, I think my sophomore year of college. We would just hang out and party together and chill. It was fantastic.
Hey.
But yeah, no, good times. And he made great cover art for y'all. I hope y'all really love that cover art because it is sick.
Love it. Yeah. We're so stoked.
Yeah, you never really know what to expect when you when you're kind of, especially for a song, because we had the song, we have a way that we feel about it, right? And then we send it to him and say, listen to the song and then see what you come up with. Like, it could go any direction, and so we gave him some inspiration, but really he took and ran with it, kind of how I guess how the song made him feel. And it really just, we were so impressed when we got it back. We were honestly really excited. It made it easy. We didn't have to go back and forth a lot of times. We, I think his first cut, we made maybe one edit, and then, it was, we were good. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. I love that. How did y'all find him though? Like, what led you to him?
Yeah, so I actually was scrolling TikTok and I just searched up, creating an album cover, and I was just trying to find somebody to do it because nobody, around here specializes in, album covers specifically. But I've been using TikTok a lot this year, so I'm like, if anywhere can find somebody, it's going to be TikTok. And sure enough, I found the video that he did for Peach Pit, and it was really cool. We love Peach Pit. It's a Peach Pit sign back there. It's a Peach Pit shirt. And so I watched the video and I wrote him and I'm like, hey man, are you open to doing a piece for us? And I actually wrote a couple people, and he responded right away. And as soon as we started talking, I'm like, oh, this is our guy. I ended up telling the others, like, I'm already working with somebody. I mean, he was, and he was, it was a pleasure, but we met online and, now we're just working on some new songs, and, he'll be, we'll reach out to him as soon as we're done when we get ready to release it and have him, send it to him so he can start drafting up something new for the next one.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. So how did Occasions come together? Like, what's the origin story of your band?
I think Brandon, you should start. It started with Brandon back here.
Yeah, there's a great website called Craigslist.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine, we went to high school, middle school together and stayed good friends. And anyway, wanted to start a band. And so he and I were playing guitar and singing and still needed to fill in for bassist and a drummer. And from there, Craigslist, that's where that comes in. Just put an ad out there, just looking for someone to play bass. And so we found someone through there, and then Bobby came into the picture. I think Chase posted something on Facebook.
Yeah, somebody tagged me in a post on Facebook of, hey, we're looking for a drummer, preferably 20s to 30s. This is the style of music that we want to do.
Must look like Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, it's a requirement. And so somebody tagged me in it. I reached out to them and they're like, here's a list of songs that we want to do. And I'm like, these are awesome songs. It was a bunch of, covers at that time. We were going to, they were wanting to play gigs, bars and stuff. And so, I'm like, we can, it's always hard, when you're playing with the band, finding a spot to rehearse. But, as the drummer, every house I've lived in has a dedicated garage, for just making loud noises. So I invited them all over and, off the bat, we hit it off really well, Brandon and I. then we went through a few changes to kind of get to where we are now, because this is in 2020. This is right after or during COVID. Um,
Hmm.
and we at the time, the guy who originally started was moving, so now we needed a singer again. And I knew Luke
Uh-huh.
from college, so I was in a band in college and he was in a band, and our band played a show together, our two bands. And I just started chatting with
Uh-huh.
him and thought he was really good, and I knew our singer was graduating, so I tried to get Luke to join our band. He's like, "Oh, I'm graduating too, but let's keep in touch." We ended up playing a few shows together. He would sit in with us. So we became really close buddies. So when, I'm now down here and needing to find a singer, I reached out to Luke and said, "Hey, I know you're 3 hours across the other coast." He was in the Miami area. And, are you open to driving over here maybe once a month? We'll play a Friday and a Saturday night, and then the rest of us can drive over there and, once a month and play a show. And he actually said yes. So
Uh-huh.
we, as a, instrumentationally, we practiced a
Shout out Luke.
bunch. Yeah.
It was a time, man. For like how long? Like a year and a half, 2 years. I was like driving over here because it started off. We were like, yeah, we'll do it like once a month, and as like we gained traction and people, wanted us back. I mean,
Mhm.
all these venues are reaching out to us. We ended up playing like sometimes 3, 4 times a month, and I was driving over here all the time, and it was like draining because we all work, normal jobs outside
Yeesh.
of this. So I'd be working Monday through Friday and just come straight over here to play shows and then drive back Sunday. And then that was my week every week for a while. So, I just eventually I was like, I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I have to move over there if we're going to keep doing this. And I thought honestly,
With those COVID gas prices too, dude.
you're telling me, bro. No, but it was worth it. I mean, it was just
Yeah.
the chemistry with the guys and everything. And I saw the potential, and I think that like the move was good, and the big intention of that too was to start doing what we're doing, which is writing and releasing music more. And we're getting into that now and really working
Mhm.
hard, and it's seeing the fruits of the labor. It's awesome. So and
Yeah.
after me, then Andrew came along too. We had some change ups in the band, and Andrew joined, and it was like the missing link. And now we're doing what we want to do, and seeing a lot of really good feedback from everybody.
Yeah. So Luke, you're the singer. Bobby, you're the drummer. And then Brandon, you're bass or guitar?
Both. Primarily bass, and then when we're
Oh.
playing out, I'll do one set of playing guitar, and then
Yeah, we switch off,
Mhm.
which is a pretty fun dynamic. I'm used to typically just playing, like
Yeah,
one
for sure.
instrument for my shows that I play in that aren't just with the occasions.
Yeah.
But playing in this group is fun because both Brennan and I get to switch off. So whenever I'm playing lead guitar, we do certain songs with that. Um, he'll switch to
Uh-huh.
guitar and then I'll switch to bass. So that's a lot of fun.
never get to play together.
That's really
Yeah, no,
cool.
we don't
Did
ever
that was that just kind of natural?
together.
Sorry, what'd you say, brother?
Okay. Was that just kind of natural? Was that natural how that worked? About y'all like switching back and forth? You'd kind of just realize that and then rip off of each other because of it and like switch
It
how you
kind
do
of
it?
it kind of had to do with kind of when they wanted me to kind of join. I was actually originally going to be just the full-time bass player. Um but that's what Bobby was telling me about that. I'm like, I would be fine doing that. But guys decided that I should do guitar too. So I was like, okay. That's kind of right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what
Yeah, I mean, Brandon was
You're
our
putting it very humbly.
yeah. Brandon was our lead guitarist for, a long time, as we started and everything. So, when we, to make our money to be able to go and record and, promote and whatnot, we have to play cover shows. So we're doing weddings, events, festivals, fundraisers, bars, anything. And, we get booked a lot. So we have, 100+ songs of cover material that we can do, all different genres. So we had so much already with Brandon on guitar to bring in, another guy. For them, it would either be they both learn, the
Yeah.
set on a new instrument or just one. So it made sense to, have Andrew play bass, which he said he could do. And then, as we started to, get influenced by the songs that Andrew likes, because he brought in a whole different taste of music that he wanted to cover, where, he would play on guitar and Brandon would start learning on bass. And, we got a pretty good split where they can, they both play a lot of songs, and Brandon sings lead on a lot of our cover songs that we do, so it's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, just waiting on Luke and I to
Yeah, that's
switch
sweet.
instruments one day.
That would be cool.
And also, I think like, people enjoy us. I mean, we've gained a traction that we have because of the entertainment value that we bring, not just our talent. And I think that like that's something too. Like a lot of people, they'll come and they see us and they're like, I thought one was good at guitar and bass, and then they switched, and I was like, oh my god! And like it's just like things that are kind of unexpected, and we're really big on entertainment value.
All
And
dope.
yeah, that's cool. So like Bobby said, one day I'll hop on drums and he'll sing. So we'll see what happens.
I'm getting there.
Especially having Luke as a front man. I mean, he really knows how to really work the crowd and get them involved and make jokes, and it's really cool. They really have a fun time.
Stand-up comedian most of the
That's
time on
sweet.
stage.
Yeah, still in standing comedian. Let's go.
Training for
So
Kill
I'm
Team.
really curious about each of y'all's. Hey, dude, go hop on. Go put your name in the lottery. You'll get on. I have faith. I'm really curious about each of y'all's individual journey with music. I don't know if you've seen any of this with me. Like I also produce music, or at least did more frequently in the past, and singer and artist and stuff. So I know how that's evolved for me, just starting in like choir, then learning guitar, then getting Logic, and then just learning all those skills. But like I kind of want to go one by one and say, what's your musical journey? So let's go Luke first.
Oh boy. I grew up just always loving music. My family, I grew up with a single mom, and my family's from the islands, so I grew up with like a lot of reggae and things like that. Honestly, growing up in calypso music, and um, I my mom bought me an iPod when I was a kid, and we didn't even have a computer or internet. I don't think she even understood how an iPod, like how you get music onto it. So I had a neighbor that was like an older guy that like he said, "Oh, come over and I have like a whole library of music. You can all put it on there." And that was slowly how I kind of learned stuff. He'd be like, "Oh, here's Clapton, put that on there." Or, "Oh, this is the Beatles. You ever heard of them? Put it on there." And that's kind of how I like expanded like what I started listening to. And I just loved music, and especially like listening to the Beatles. Like I think that like it really helped me like when I first started realizing like that harmonies existed. Like listening to Paul and John kind of back and forth, and singing those, but not ever thinking like, hey, I'm good at this, but just that like I just really enjoyed it. Um and eventually like I just like picked up like an old guitar my mom had. I just like messing around with it, but nothing major. Um and I was in high school, I was auditioning for, actually not auditioning, I was applying to go to this fancy school in Boca Raton that I was trying to get a scholarship to go there. My mom wanted me to go, and I originally walked in there with the idea that I would be playing some sort of sport to get my foot in the door. And I was taking a tour of the school, and I went into the theater department, and we started talking about music, and he asked me to sing something. And next thing I knew, I was on a music scholarship there. So that was kind of all I did once I started there. I was like, if it had to do with music, I was in it. So it was choir, theater, band, whatever it was, my butt was in it. And that was kind of when I realized, okay, like, wow, I can do a lot of different things with this, and I really enjoy it. And so I had quite a big background. Once like I got into like in high school, I was in a bunch of bands, just random different genres, um, and even throughout college. But this group here is the most solid group I've ever been in, and the most I enjoy playing with as well. So yeah, all over the place, theater, choir, anything music. It's all influenced me in one way or another. And I think that definitely if you see our shows, you could probably see the theatrics. So my shenanigans on stage and whatnot. But yeah, that's kind of my journey, I guess.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Using theater in that kind of way is pretty sweet. And especially considering you like walked on campus and sang, and they like that's a really cool story. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, who wants to go next?
My mom was stoked. I didn't really realize what was happening so quickly, but it did. But yeah, I hadn't done theater in a long time either. Now I'm actually I'm doing a show, Rent. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a Broadway show. We're doing it in Sarasota right now, and Andrew's actually in the band for the show as well. So still going with that, but occasions
Cool.
and band music is really where my heart lies.
Sweet. Yeah, I think you mentioned that when we were DMing. Yeah, something about yeah. That's okay. Now it's all coming together. All the pieces are coming together. That's cool.
Yep. Who wants to go next?
All right, who wants to go next? Who's got next?
Okay. They whispered my name, these guys.
Not everybody wants, guys. Not everybody wants.
Always the guys in the back. Yeah. Yeah, so I grew up playing sports. I would say, my mom is musical. She knew how to play piano and whatnot, and she had the really good music taste, really into Michael Jackson, Beatles. She loves like Doobie Brothers, stuff like that, and I listened to a lot of that. And spending time with my dad was very around Southern rock. He grew up here in Florida too, so Allman Brothers, Skinner, things like that. So um, always liked music. I just didn't really play much until I was probably in like close to middle school. But what really got me playing music was my oldest sister. She is about 5 years older than me, and she got just involved with playing at youth groups and doing things at school and whatnot. But she started playing all these instruments. So we had a piano at the house, we had a guitar at the house. Eventually, there was a drum set at the house, bass. And so she was picking up all these instruments. So I started to kind of toy around and play. And I started with piano and I absolutely hated it. I remember as a kid, though, I might have even been younger, my parents forced me to go into piano lessons and I would cry saying, like, I don't want to go. Don't make me go to piano lessons. And looking back, it's like one of my biggest regrets because, if I had that knowledge and skill set, I think that would have been very beneficial to where I started taking piano lessons as an adult about a year ago. I'm like, this is so hard. I wish I did it when my brain was more spongy. But I started on guitar, took some guitar lessons, and then when the drum set was at my house, I just, as the only boy in my family, I just would want to go there and just beat him as hard as I could. And eventually it kind of started to click. What's funny, because people at times ask me where I learned how to play drums. I had a Rock Band, the video game, and I had the drum pad, and I learned how to do
Nice.
rotation between my feet and my hands when I started like upping the difficulties. So then I could go to an actual drum set and I could start like imitating it. And then at that point, it got a lot easier. And so I would just put headphones on to songs like classic rock songs that I liked. There was a lot of AC/DC and Zeppelin. And I would just play along to the songs and kind of learn that way until I got to a point where I was ready to start taking lessons. And, genre wise, it's been kind of I've moved around a lot. I really love classic rock, and that's why we cover a lot of that. I have I guess a lot of different inspirations, but it's been yeah, I think that's kind of about the extent of it. And then I played through high school. I got into Once people found out that I knew how to play drums, I would then get pulled to, play with friends and then play at a church. I did Sunday mornings at my local church for years, all throughout high school. I was the drummer there, playing with adults, which was good because I learned structure, learned how to play to a click, learned how to prepare for a song that I didn't write. And, so that was honestly really helpful. And then, through high school, I had a couple different bands that I played with, and we would do some small gigging. And then it really picked up in college when I realized, okay, now I don't have as much to do. What should I get involved in? And my roommate and I started playing. Went to a guitar center and found a guitarist and started a band. That's where ultimately I met Luke through. So, it all kind of happened naturally, and I'm still learning. And I try to still keep up on other instruments a little bit just to be able to contribute when we're writing and such. But yeah, love it a lot, and yeah, about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Chip.
Yeah, that's I have a feeling going to be the theme for Brandon and Andrew too, is that like music's just kind of always a part of you, and it shows itself in different ways at different parts of your life. But yeah,
For sure.
that's
It's
cool.
a language.
The whole rock band drummer thing. I grew. What was that?
No, I was just saying, and that's like the coolest thing about music is that it's like a language that like I feel like it's something a lot of people are born with, like in their heart. Like you just eventually learn it, and you're gonna, you
Mm-hmm.
meet people along the way that speak very similar to you, and and
Uh-huh.
when you make those connections, it's just like fireworks. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So with the Rock Band, like I grew up on Guitar Hero and Rock Band, and I have this theory that those two games single-handedly kept mainstream rock music popular for the next like 2 generations. So hearing that makes me really happy.
Yeah, we say that our set list, we have a Guitar Hero 3 set list where we have like all the songs in Guitar Hero 3 because we all owned it separately and know every song on there. That we have a lot of songs when we're trying to come up with new covers, somebody will be like, "Oh, well, do you know I don't know, I'm trying to
Talk
think.
Dirty to Me by Poison. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, Guitar Hero 3.
Yeah, we all remember it from Guitar Hero 3. We're able to pick it up really quickly. Yeah, we're not having to like relearn it. It's really fun.
3 only. We don't mess with anything else. 3 only.
Yeah, only 3. Yeah. That's funny. All right, well, Andrew, let's hear from you next. Kind of what's your
Sure.
musical journey?
Well, before I get into that, it's really funny about Guitar Hero. A lot of people, because I do guitar professionally, as my only career, I do music full time. They ask me like, are you like really good at Guitar Hero? I'm like, actually, I'm terrible. I'm actually awful at Guitar Hero, which is really funny. I could only ever play to like medium difficulty. And the moment I had to add the next button, it was over. I
Yeah.
just couldn't make it happen.
Unbelievable.
But something with actual guitar.
That orange button, man. It's always the orange. You gotta.
That dastard.
He can actually play Through the Fire and the Flames,
Yeah.
but he can't
But
do
I
it on
can't-
Guitar Hero.
But he can't play it on easy on guitar.
But not on Guitar Hero.
So weird. I don't know why. But yeah, so
Oh, that's
I-
fantastic.
I started with the guitar as my main instrument. I got my first electric guitar when I was 7 years old for Christmas, and I was absolutely just hooked and just absolutely addicted to anything, whether it was learning chords or learning scales or learning whatever. A lot of kids my age were, playing outside, picking their nose, or doing something else.
Getting
But I
chicks.
was, yeah, right, at 7. But I was inside playing guitar because I was just that way. And yes, I was exposed to a lot of stuff. Like my mom is really really a huge fan of like Motown stuff, funk stuff like Earth, Wind and Fire, Whitney Houston, that kind of style. And my dad was more of the rocker, so he got to show me like, well, yeah, ZZ Top, and like Van Halen and Thin Lizzy and the Cars and just all the awesome cool stuff. So and then so I played for a little while, learning different styles of music and absorbing different kinds of things. Middle school, I started playing in band, so I picked up the trumpet, and that was when I first learned how to read music. And that was the first time. That was the first instrument, weirdly enough, that I learned how to read with. So I did band actually all throughout middle school, all throughout high school, and even a little bit after too. But I actually ended up teaching myself how to read going into high school, because there was guitar programs and stuff like that. So my freshman year when I went in, the teacher told me to get out of beginning and go straight into the advanced class, which I thought was cool. But a lot of it was based off of reading, kind of classical guitar type stuff. And I even I was in the jazz band in high school. I did normal concert band for trumpet. I was in music theory. I I almost had more music classes than actual actual classes, which was awesome. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, and then because of jazz band, I got to learn how to read on guitar and read lead sheets, chord charts, stuff like that. And I was primarily actually self-taught with guitar, pretty much, with the exception of my dad, showing me a few things here and there when I was a kid. But it wasn't until I applied to go and do Berklee College of Music online to pursue guitar, that I ended up getting my own private instructor through Berklee as my kind of professor. And and he showed me so much stuff that I never even could have imagined, and showed me how to use my ear and understand things more with the brain, and getting that kind of to the guitar. And it was just completely life changing for me to do that. Um, and then after I graduated from Berkeley, I wanted to kind of try teaching, private teaching. I couldn't imagine doing it at school, but actually doing one-on-one with students actually turned out to be amazing. And it was mainly because of my professor, who he was so personable and very influential to the way that I think about teaching, and how someone should be when they teach, that they should really care about, who they're teaching, about their personal life and stuff like that. That was really big for me. And I fell in love with that. I've been teaching since I think 2021, privately with guitar. I also teach bass and trumpet as well. So I teach, and also, Luke mentioned that he's doing, theater stuff. He actually introduced me to the local, theater music director. So I've actually been doing a lot of work over there, and it's been such a blast. So I've been doing theater work. I teach, and I play in this group, and I also play in some other, bands of different genres. So yeah, I'm happy to say I've been working hard to try and do the music full time. So that's what I've been up to.
That is such a cool story. I love that. Wow. Y'all are quite a bunch, you know that?
Yeah, all sorts of different backgrounds
Yeah.
for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, that leaves us with Brandon. Brandon, did you go to Princeton or Harvard or something? I don't know. What'd you do?
Speak up, shit.
Yeah, Mr. Laconic back here. No, music was always kind of in my family. I didn't have anyone who was necessarily playing instruments, but it was just always on, whether in the house or just driving around with my family. Music was always on. So from that, I grew to love it. But it wasn't until probably around early middle school where I decided that I wanted to start playing an instrument. And the first instrument that I owned was a drum set, and that sat in my parents' garage, and I never learned how to play it. Um, but I'd beat on it, and it was fun. I'd have the radio on in the garage, listening to AC/DC and just the classic rock radio station, just having fun with that. But never got serious about it. Never knew how to get to the point of getting a structure and learning an instrument. So it sat for a while, and one day my school was doing some fundraiser, and they were asking for donations. My parents donated my drum set to be sold away. So but I still wanted to do music after that. So thanks to Guitar Hero 3, that's not a joke. Thanks to Guitar Hero 3, I just really wanted to guitar. And yeah, I had whoever my best friend was at the time, whether it be middle school or high school, just always had people around me who played guitar, played music, and played in a couple small bands through high school. And then where I really started to step up my game was late high school. Good old Craigslist. I really wanted to play in a band, and no one that I knew my own age wanted to play the music that I wanted to play at the serious level of actually going out and playing venues. So I went on Craigslist, and I found a band who was looking for a lead guitarist. And the age of the band, it was two guys in their 40s and 50s, and another guy in his 60s. And they were really into doing British Invasion, a lot of Beatles, which I loved growing up. So it was a perfect way for me to start playing with people. And the age thing wasn't the cool part about it, I guess. We look like a family when we go out and play, but I learned a lot from them. Actually play in a band and learn what my role was as a guitarist, and also learning vocal harmony through that. I didn't really have any interest in singing before then, but you're playing stuff like Beatles, Dave Clark 5, and Animals, a lot of 2-3 part vocal harmonies. So I remember a lot of practices just sitting there and just it was painful sometimes, but just a cappella, just going through all those harmonies a bunch. And yeah, it's something that I'm glad that I had that now in the band, because it does help having that kind of element to be able to harmonize with Luke and with Bobby and Andrew when he feels like chiming in. But so yeah, I did that for a while, and then yeah, that band ended up splitting up, and at that point, I was getting into very different music. I was trying to learn stuff like Chet Atkins doing fingerstyle guitar. Also getting a lot into indie rock and just branching off in a bunch of different directions. And yeah, and of course, you know how the band formed now, and yeah, so
As you
here we
can
are.
tell, we have a lot of different influences.
That's awesome.
I think that's what really it's cool, because
Yeah.
it could be like maybe it's frustrating sometimes for all of us when we're trying to figure out like what songs to add to like the set list when we want to change things up, because there's just so many different influences. I mean, like I grew up on the Warped Tour scene. I've been in metalcore, ska bands. I've done a bunch of different things, and you know we all have completely different. I mean, there's definitely some twining themes in there, but I think we've really learned to like work with that and make something of that too. Any lesser band would probably get pissed and say I'm done. So yeah, I'm proud of us and what we were able to accomplish given that, you know.
Well, that's what made it cool. Last night we were working together on a song idea that we have, and I said, you know, there's a part of this song that feels classic rock. There's a part of this song that feels pop rock, or sorry, pop punk, and there's a part of the song that feels kind of indie rock, and that kind of like encompasses all of our genre taste that we like. So there's like a little piece in there for everybody. That's the song that we'll, you know, have out at some point in probably the next few months. But we were just working on it before we jumped on this, and it makes it fun because you can take everybody's
Nice.
influences and run with it. And
Yeah.
yeah, because music is so, it's really subjective, and everybody, obviously they have their different tastes. But I think, as a cover band, when we go and play a venue, yeah, we might play a classic rock song and you get some people dancing, then you go to pop punk and you have other people dancing, and you can really get a crowd to like you. Even like if you just stuck to one genre, you would only have one following. And I think, even releasing songs like, the song came out with Mountain Man, I think had a little bit more of an edge to it because we were finding it getting placed on more like hard rock playlists. And we have other songs that would go on soft rock playlists. So I think it'll be able to kind of grow our audience, but that's kind of the people that follow us now and like listening to the songs we cover is due to our, variety. Yeah, really something in there for everybody.
I think that even gives us like a lot of uniqueness to our sound. Like even like what Bobby was just saying about the song we're working on
For
right
sure
now.
it does.
That
Yeah.
like I'm listening to it and I'm like, this is like,
Its own genre.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's really fun to see that. And again, like when we play live shows, I mean, it's all kind of started from our performance aspect. Like, yes, we're now really digging into this music out and we're working hard to get it done. But I mean, we've gained a following and reputation that we have from our performances. And I mean, I always say like, there's a song in there for everybody. It doesn't matter what kind of music you're into. We more than likely have something that in this, whether you're 80 or you're 22. It doesn't really matter. So yeah.
And with that, obviously, like when you're gigging and you're doing a bunch of cover songs, you're like you said, you're gonna need that variety. Not only that y'all are good at it, but you're gonna need that variety because there could be a 60-year-old that wants to listen to the Beatles in there. There could be a 20-year-old that wants to listen to something completely different. You have to cater to all those audiences. But when it comes to occasions, do y'all see eventually yourselves niching down into more of like a defined genre, or do you see yourselves being like a pop punk song, a hard rock song? Like, are you going to switch it up constantly? Like, where do you see it going?
We talk about that a lot.
Yeah. That's kind of a loaded question, right? Because we're now starting to kind of venture into, like, obviously Mountain Man's like our first like big official release here, right? And if you keep paying attention to us, you'll hear the new songs we come out with, sooner rather than later. Hopefully that it'll sound a little bit different. I don't think we're necessarily putting ourselves in a box right now. I think that the cover shows will always be something we love to do. We have a very large group of people here in this area that love to come watch us play. And, it's not like they go and sit down when we play an original. I mean, they like to hear that too. I think they just love us as a band. And I think that kind of, you can attribute a lot of that due to the fact that we play so many different kinds of things. I mean, people always like, holy crap, you guys played Prince and then you played Green Day and then you played Led Zeppelin. It was like, what, like all these songs. I mean, do every single one of them really well. And that's impressive to a lot of people. And I think that, like, even if our songs end up sounding, maybe not exactly like a defined genre, I think that no matter what we put out there, people are going to enjoy it because we're going to do it well.
And we'll also, I think, with that, when we have a music festival next weekend that we're playing, a local one with all local bands, and we have a long set. So we're doing covers and we're throwing in some of our originals. Some of our new ones are going to be played. And what's cool about it is we can find slots in our set where our originals kind of match the vibe of the night. So if we're to start the show, if we're doing some softer songs, we have a softer original that we can throw in there. And then when the crowd's really hype, we can play one of our, more hype songs. And so it kind of works well with what we're doing at this stage. And I know you talk to a lot of other artists and, what's the right way to do it. And some people are, you need to find your niche. And I know that's a practice in business is to, you really got to find, your target demographic and, and give them what they like. But I think we've talked about it so much. We've clashed on the conversation, and we've also bounced around. I've personally flip-flopped on that idea of should we try to stick to something and just like attack that market, or should we go elsewhere? But I think at the end of the day, we just want to do what we think sounds good, what we love, and just continue to just to create with one another, because that's what's most fun about this is we can all take a little piece of our style and make it our own. So I think, I guess, to be determined, to answer your question, Adam.
Yeah, but even I think we like just yesterday, today, I think we're like learning. I mean, because again, we're still fresh in this part of our career, right? I mean, I think that like with this song that we keep mentioning that we were working on yesterday and today, that like it was really cool because like I kind of came to the table with it and it sounded very like right off Warped Tour kind of punk song, right? But like as we're playing it together and working on it, like things are morphing more into like our sound. And our sound, yeah, we may not have the perfect word to describe it yet, but I think we'll learn what that is as we keep going, and have a lot of fun doing it. So
yeah, and we'll see what people like and what songs are, if one song just is clearly a lot more successful. I mean, I think we'll all feed off that too. And I mean, I don't think, we don't have an exact roadmap. As I said, we just want to create.
Well, perfect. What's the story behind y'all's name, by the way? Occasions. What does that mean to y'all?
Do you like it, Adam?
Do I like it?
Yeah.
just say you hate it.
I don't. Wait, what is happening? What the heck?
Who's Wit?
Someone joining? Who's
Wit?
What the heck? Okay, bye, Wit. Anyways, no, I like the name Occasions. Tell me more. Should I not?
No, you should. I mean, because we're sticking with it. It's really funny. I mean, there's really not a story for it. I mean, all I give people nowadays, because people will ask that when we're gigging, I say it's because we'll play for any occasion. We're the right band. It came from a night at a bar, and we had a show that we had booked before we really even had a name. We had somebody who said, like, once you guys are ready, we'll let you come play at the venue. And so we, Brandon and I and the two guys that aren't even with our band anymore, sat in a bar and picked a couple words off a wall. One of them was said something about like the occasion, and that got brought up. We said, sure, let's run with it. We can always change it down the road. Then it got to a point where like, it's like, okay, should we change it now? But now we can't change it because we have, so much merch and branding and logos. And at this point, everybody does. The whole thing is, it was the occasions. And Luke was very adamant about dropping the word "the" and to make it kind of more modern. So we got rid of that part of it and changed kind of some of the branding of it. But yeah, at this point, it is who we are at this point. You know, it's like, you know, I
Yeah.
No, you're 100% right. It's like it feels like it's
Don't you love
it's not
that?
like no one hates the name, but it's us, and I think at this point we've gained such attraction with that name. Everyone around this town knows who Occasions are, and I think that it would be kind of detrimental to us to like go changing that when we've already have a name that everybody knows. And you know, I'm sure some people might think it's lame, but I also have people that tell them like, "Oh, that's an awesome name. I love the word one word name." And it's us. I mean, I just don't really know what else we do at this point.
yeah, it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
We're kind of stuck.
Yeah, it's our name.
It is what it is. Yeah.
We married her, we had a kid, and now I'm stuck. You know.
Oh, that's funny. So your debut single, Mountain Man, that just dropped a couple weeks ago. What is the story behind what that song means, and then also how y'all wrote it?
Yeah, so it's cool, and I'd love to shout out a guy I used to play music with in college named Robbie Barus. He's fantastic guitarist. We wrote really well together, and there was a part of the song, the very first part of the lick is something that him and I had a long time ago, and it's kind of stuck with me for a while, and I've wanted to use it, and so just the first couple notes of that lick, I then kind of transformed into more of a, kind of finished guitar riff that then I passed along to Brandon, which he, did his magic with it. Then it got to Andrew. So it's a riff that is like from an idea from a long time ago that has withstood the test of time. And I was so excited when we recorded to send it to Robbie because, he was like, dude, I'm so happy that, even that piece of it is living on. And so that's kind of how the riff started. So it was, something that we came up with, and then lyrically, I don't even know where it started, but I do remember, one night with Luke in my old apartment, I was just trying to come up with some words for it, and I think he just got that little part, Mountain Man, in the high, range. And then we were like, oh, that's sweet. Now let's tell a story about this guy. And we were just having a blast, like laughing and like, okay, he can have a beard. All right, what about him? What else about him? He's got a scar. What else? He rides a bear. He does this. He's mysterious. And we just kept going and going, and ended up, we worked the rest out with the other guys, got the rest of the verses done, and then we just kind of, went to the shop and all just were, jamming on it, coming up with bridges, and Andrew, went to town on, the bridge, and Brandon came up with the super cool bass line, and we all just threw pieces at it to make it our own, and it was a lot of fun.
Fun fact: most of my guitar solo, if you listen to that, was like on the spot in the studio,
Improvised, yeah.
and we were like he did some insane solo.
Really?
We were all just like,
It was, yeah.
and then then his ass was like, "Hold on, I could do it better." And then he did that. And I was like, "That was it." It was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, just to build off of that. Yeah, I didn't want to go into the session with a planned solo. Although a planned solo, of course, is the way that, like Skinner wrote all of their famous stuff. But like, I don't know. I just felt like, it would be cooler if I just got something from inside. And so there was a couple times I was doing, solo attempts, and I'm like, you know what, this isn't working. I'm like, I was telling him, I think I got an idea. Watch this.
Starts finger tapping.
That's exactly what he said too. I remember you saying, "I have an idea."
Hold my beer. Yeah.
And he just lays down the most insane.
We're all in the booth and we're like, but this one was really cool, man, because like whenever people ask, like Bobby said, I think that like songwriting, especially like lyrically, it can be really hard if you're overthinking like what you're trying to write about. And it came down to a conversation where that's kind of what we were saying, right? That like, let's just let's stop writing about something that like is objectively true or something that like all people know about. Let's write about something that like nobody knows about, that doesn't exist. So this fictional character came to life, and then we were just like writing lines, whether we thought they were funny or it was just like, like these badass kind of lines for this badass kind of character. And it was just like super fun to write because we were just laughing and having a good time, and eventually morphed into this. And yeah, it's pretty cool. And honestly, the lyrics haven't changed that much since like the original like ones that we wrote. Little things here and there, but yeah, it was super fun process.
It
The
very much
lyrics are fantastic.
like
I was listening to it. I was listening to it yesterday in the car. I was listening to it yesterday in the car, and it wasn't the first time I heard it. It was like probably the fourth or fifth. But it's like it really does do a very good job of kind of like telling a story through describing this man, and it's one of the more like story driven songs that I've heard in a while, and it made it more memorable. So I would say that'd definitely be something good for y'all to tap into as well if you're working on a full record, um, because it stuck with me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
No, I like to hear that.
Um,
Appreciate that. That's cool. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with
Yeah.
it, and yeah, I mean, I've heard the song so many times, and I still, but now if it comes on shuffle,
100,000 times.
yeah, I still enjoy listening to it, which is cool because like it's something to really be proud of. It's fun to share and send to people, and it's really cool to be to have. I think it came out really well. The studio that we went to is up in Sarasota, and they've recorded Allman Brothers, Government Mule, Black Crows. Aerosmith and Youngblood were there 2 weeks before we were, which was crazy. They did that single they just dropped.
Whoa.
I know. I like. Why were you guys in our hometown? And
Yeah, super random.
didn't even say anything to us.
I would have let them open.
Yeah,
for
they
us.
didn't even say hey to you. That's disrespectful.
But that, yeah, so they just did a fantastic job recording it, and we did it in 3 hours. I mean, the guy, when we walked in, he goes, I don't know if you guys are going to have enough time to do this. And we went in, we all hit our parts on like first or second take. Most of the time was spent like getting the right levels on tones and such, and like listening back and just, adjusting some levels. Came out really well. So we're super pumped. We got some stuff that we've been working on that we're really, really excited to release. That one was fun because we've just had it, and it's like, hey, let's just get started. Let's get a song out. And just start doing this. And that's one that we had, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So do you see yourselves now releasing more singles? Are we doing like maybe an EP or a full album? What's next for y'all with your songs, your
I
creation?
think we're definitely gonna do the single game for a little bit. I think that's how the music industry's kind of morphed a little bit. I don't think that obviously we're in the age of social media and everything that's ruined everybody's attention span. And people aren't going and buying, people are buying like vinyls and stuff, but they're not really buying vinyls from bands they don't know and sitting there and listening to the whole album, right? So they're more likely to put their attention towards a single song and really listen to it and give it a shot than an entire album, right? And I think that the single game is smart right now. We're gonna keep releasing singles, and then when eventually we have enough to make into an EP or an album, we'll go that route. But we've got like 4 or 5 songs that we're cooking with right now, and the plan is to get them out and next couple months, just release them periodically, and go from there. But yeah, the single game is where it's at the moment.
Sweet. Yeah, I agree. I always personally struggled to put together enough songs to make an EP or an album, but definitely just releasing a single, you can properly hype it up, I think, and give it enough space to let anyone listen to it from anywhere. So I think that's a really good way to go about it. Do y'all do any music production as well, or do you outsource that to a studio?
Yeah, we outsource that. So we use Bass Sounds in Sarasota to do the recording and the mixing, and then we sent off to a mastering firm that they recommended for the mastering part of it. We record all our demos to kind of start. So as we are, as we're coming up with ideas, we'll get together, in this room and start tracking guitar, and then, put a fake drum beat on it, get the bass, allow it to at least have like a karaoke version so we can all listen and start coming up with melodies, and then come back, record some ideas on melodies and some lyrics, and then give everybody time to kind of listen to it. And then we usually all get in, we all learn just a basic of the song. We all get, to our practice space and then try to hash it out and then, see what other people have come up with. Cause, we've all written. So what's cool, some of these songs is like, Mountain Man was one that, I spent a lot of time with, kind of the whole order of it and the different parts and the instrumentation. And then, the song we're probably going to release next is something that Andrew completely came up with that we've all been able to, add our flair to. Brandon has a song that, we're working on now. Luke has a song that we're working on now. And it's been a lot of fun that, so we'll all bring kind of an idea to the table and then we all put our spin on it. So, we'll do a little self demos here and then everybody gets time to spend with it. And then we're going to, outsourcing all the production and recording and such.
There's not really a Ringo in the band.
Yeah.
We're all Paul.
We're all Paul.
There's not one yet. There's not one yet. There always could be one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's sweet though. You got to do, of course, whatever makes the most sense for y'all and whatever works. And if it's working, keep doing that. One random question that I had: do y'all have any wild or just memorable stories from a gig yet? Anything crazy?
Should be the second time I tell this story today.
No,
We got a lot. I got a fun one. So early on, we were going to West Palm Beach to play a show over on the other coast, and I had a Kia Optima, and I had my entire drum set in my Kia Optima, and Brandon was driving separately in another car with all his stuff, and so we were all driving separately. I'm like halfway through the state of Florida, going, in Florida, I'm going like straight through, the Okeechobee,
Middle of nowhere.
Everglades, just middle of nowhere, and through the swamp.
Yeah.
And so, I get just about halfway
High
into
five and alligators. Yeah.
a little town called Moore Haven, where there's one gas station, one school, one church. Pretty small town, great town. And so my car just breaks. It just shuts off. My engine is shot. And I was able, luckily, to kind of guide myself to, or just roll as I'm losing all my speed to a KOA campground. And I'm there and I'm calling, I called AAA, I'm calling, local mechanics. It's taken forever for people to get there. And there's a house on this big lot of land right next to the KOA. And, after a few hours, guy walks out, and it's the middle of the summer in Florida. It's super hot, mosquitoes. Guy walks over and, hey, what's going on? And I tell him I'm waiting for, somebody to come check out my car. He's like, let me bring you supper. He called it supper. So I'm like, this is going to be good. And he brings me a plate of food, cornbread, drinks, waters, and cookies, and just like takes great care of me. Gave me, let me charge my phone and such.
What a homie.
Super nice guy. So, it ended up being, my car I had to leave it there. They said the engine was shot after somebody checked it. AAA couldn't get there till the next morning to tow it back to, our coast, Venice. And Luke had to drive across. We had to fit all of my drums and my stuff in a smaller car with both of us in there.
Jeez.
I drove with with one of my drums on my lap, or I rode in the front seat. And we get there and, we exchange with the guy that I talked to. Is really nice. So end up talking to him on the phone, later on. And he, we're chatting and he goes, hey, I'm actually the music director at the local high school here, and we'd love to have you guys come play an event at our performing arts theater, and we'll invite the town. And so, sure enough, months down the road, we book it, we go there, we perform on this giant stage, the biggest, theater there in town.
The whole town of like 50 people.
Yeah, they were loving it. Everybody in seats, we're on this big stage trying to hype people up. And we, then he invites us over, has meals for everybody, and just have that connection with that guy. That's one story that, like, from this band that always, it was kind of a cool, because that was kind of early on when we were starting, and just funny how things kind of happen, and I think that has kind of happened a lot with, I think we're all kind of have met people like, the radio show we went on this morning, just from Luke talking to a guy after one of our gigs. And we've just met a lot of people along the way, and opportunities tend to kind of open up, like this one today with you, Adam. And just, it's been really cool, the trajectory that we've been able to ride.
Yeah, you put good energy out there, you get it back. And I think we've
It's
experienced
all
that
networking.
in our years of
All
doing it.
networking, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want a funnier story?
Yeah. Dude, hit me with it. Lay it on me.
So on the radio show this
This
morning,
will
they
be a
asked
clip.
how to be crazy stories. Okay, clip. Okay. Uh, so we're playing a show a couple months ago, and we have a bunch of merch and everything, and this lady comes up to me like on our break, and she's like, "How much are your shirts?" And I said $30. And then this lady takes off her shirt and her bra and flashes us and says, "How about now?" And I looked her in the face and I said, 30.
$30.
Yeah, we got some wild ones. It's pretty funny.
is
We
hard,
have
dude.
some funny stories in this band. I mean, we do really have people of all ages and backgrounds come to our shows, and some of the things we hear and get told, I'm like, oh my god. But it's fun. It makes for a fun
I
journey.
don't know what that lady was thinking.
She was thinking
I
I
don't
was
know what
gonna
that
give
lady
it
was
to
thinking.
free.
Like, but has she done that before? Was she a repeat
Probably
offender,
in the-
or was that her first
Yeah,
time
probably
trying
the Van
that?
Halen in the 80s.
Yeah. I'm sure that, you used to be able to get her free shirts.
That's wild.
It's
We're sophisticated gentlemen.
Yeah.
It don't
Yeah.
work the same anymore.
Yeah, we stand on business.
No free, no
Occasions
freebies.
are just you're built different. That's all. You're just not for that.
We're a family friendly band.
You don't
Put them away.
You don't condone that.
Put them away. That's awesome. I love that. Thank you for that.
The-
What's the dream scenario for you guys? Like, where do you see this going, or what's the goal, I guess you could say?
I think right now, for me at least, and I'll let everybody else speak on that, because we, we're kind of one thing at a time right now. But, for me, I think if we can just continue to write, record, release, promote, and play, I think it's just so important. Like, it's just getting out there and getting people to know you, like you. And I think if you can dominate your hometown first, then you can go bigger. You hear the stories of people blowing up overnight. Obviously, yeah, that's a dream. I mean, that would be incredible. But, there's also a lot of work that goes into it. So we're in that working phase right now. And, if something ever happens, and, I think my personal dream, I would love to be this is like a dream, to be the musical guest on SNL. I think that's my goal, right? Or dream, more
That's
dream.
a solid dream, dude.
That's a
great.
dream.
That'd be sick.
So I don't, and now you guys might be different.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like we're all pretty.
Hey, dreams are only goals you haven't completed yet. So
Yeah.
I think we all have like a pretty realistic view on this. Is that we all work, and that we all have income sources outside of this, and I think you have to be realistic in these things, and also realistically, you also, in order for it to even get to like playing on SNL, we have to put a lot of work in. Like, it's not going to happen without any effort, right? So we're all doing our thing, and I think that like ideally, yeah, if it takes off, then awesome. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if we just become local heroes here in the town, at least we have something to show for it at the end. You know what I mean? It's better to, if you have art, put it out there. It doesn't matter if nobody likes it. It's for you, and for you to leave your mark on this earth. And I mean, if in 20 years I'm still playing cover shows and I don't have a single song out there to show for it, then I would think that's pretty sad. But yeah, SNL sounds great.
yeah. Okay. Brandon, Andrew, do y'all have anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, definitely going off of, I guess what Luke said. I mean, we do have our lives, and, whether it be through work and, just our families that we have here, we all enjoy those things. So it's not something where we're trying to get out of here and, get to some bigger level. Not to say if that happens, that would be fantastic. But we're enjoying what we're doing, and I think the biggest thing with this for us is just having a creative outlet and just hanging out with people who want to make music. At the end of the day, as simple as it sounds, and as cliche as
Yeah.
it may be, it's just fun to be around people who want to make music with you. It's rare to find that when you're looking for
100%.
bandmates when you're just starting off. You're not going to find people that you click with. You're not going to find, even if you do, you're not going to find all the right instrumentation around you. So just to have a group of guys who you can have that experience with, just in and of itself is rewarding. So, if this is all it ever becomes, where we're just making some singles or an album, whatever, and never takes off, we can still be very proud of what we did.
100%. And it takes a while for anyone to find that, right? I mean, we've
At the
all
end of
been in
the day,
so many different bands and different genres. I
yeah.
mean, the fact that we found each other and that this has been as solid for as long as it has been is sick. So, Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
That's
very,
pretty
very
awesome.
similar
I
to
mean,
the rest of the guys. I mean, I'm very I always think about how fortunate I am to be in a group where we can make a decent amount just with the four of us at places that Bobby has connections to with his line of work, and uh, it's really awesome that we're not always playing every weekend, but we're playing enough for me that's like a good source of income for the other things that I do, and same with the guys. Um, and doing, especially having a ton of fun while doing it is really the dream. And of course the songwriting side too. I think all of us just really treat it like it's really just a passion. It's just out of pure love and kind of enjoyment of making something really cool. Um, Obviously, yeah, I mean, we're not expecting to become the next, you know, big, huge thing, but that would be, yeah, obviously that'd be great. I think we both, or all of us, we all have two sides to the group, which is like, we do we can make a decent part of our living with just the band, even just playing at gigs and venues. But we also allow ourselves to kind of have that creative like loving side of the music too, which I mean both is, but
It
it's
can
nice.
become a chore, if
Yeah.
you are playing every night of the week,
100%.
because there's a lot of bands that just do events, weddings, and they're playing, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's a lot of work. The gigging part of it, if you've
Mhm.
ever, done it,
Yeah.
all the time, because we don't, you don't have a road crew.
Just
We're lucky,
moving stuff around to
yeah,
Yeah.
prepare. That's a
we're,
lot.
Yes.
we're lucky to have a close friend named Steve Beebe who
Steve.
yeah, shout out. We have to shout him out because he shows up to all our gigs, helps us load in,
Shout out
load out,
Steve.
he runs our sound, and he doesn't ask for a thing. Besides, let him use the bar tab. So,
Wow.
um, yeah, he's awesome, and he
Wow.
also has a
That's
full time
awesome.
job and just loves music. He's a great guitar player. He'll come up and play with us sometimes, but he's just a good friend and loves what we create and wants to
Sweet.
be a part of it. So we're lucky to have him. But if even with that gigging, loading in, loading out, running sound, just it's a lot of work and it can get tiring. We'll get burnt out if we do, three very similar cover shows over a
For
weekend.
sure.
But when we get to, go to a studio and
Mhm.
or just like, jam in the garage and write and come up with new stuff, it's exhilarating. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's different sides to it.
Ultimately, if you see us headlining
Yeah.
Bonnaroo or something like that in a couple years, then it did take off. Um, so
Bonnaroo.
we'll see what happens. We're all
Hey, if you want to if you can
regardless,
get
we're
me
putting
tickets
the
to
effort.
Bonnaroo, then look, I'll come watch you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We're putting the effort
No,
in.
y'all are yeah, y'all are I can tell y'all are working really hard, and I think you may be underselling yourselves just a little bit because you are all really talented and you make great music and you're doing all the right things. You never know, y'all could just take off like any day. You never know.
That'd be cool. I mean, yeah,
Um
it's all about the work you put
the
in,
the,
your output. So yeah, we just got to keep working hard, and
Mhm.
it's with all of us, working full time, and then and then you get those few hours at night to do something, and you have other obligations, right? I mean, people have families and
Yeah.
um other things that you have to get done to each day, and to be able to commit the time to, write or, just even practice or, just do things for the greater good of like the four of us. It's a lot, and everybody in here has shown their commitment to that. And that's why I think all of us are motivated to do it, because we know everybody else is. And so, yeah, I mean, I would say that it's, we definitely put the work into it. So we'll see where it goes.
Mm-hmm. Well, it shows for sure. So the last question I have for y'all, this is something I ask every single podcast guest that I have, and I love all the different takes people have on it. And I'm curious to see if y'all's will be a little bit more like musically inclined. But what I ask everyone is, for people that are in that like 18 to 20-ish kind of age range, that are like young adults that are just entering the world in a way they haven't ever experienced before, what's the single biggest piece of advice y'all could give them to help navigate themselves into adulthood?
Let's go first.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I think that manifesting is a cool word, and people love to, say like, oh, I keep wanting this, I keep wanting this. Yeah, wanting it and putting forth the work and effort that's necessary are two completely different things. And what separates someone from achieving what they want and someone who just continues to want is a big, large amount of effort. And I'm blessed to have these three guys with me that we're all willing to do that, to make this happen and work for each other. You nothing is going to be given to you. You have to put the work out there to do it. Doesn't matter whether you want to play basketball or you want to be the best grocery bag person at Publix. It doesn't matter. Like you have to put forth the effort. Yeah, that's what I would say.